Welcome to the deep dive. We're aiming to get you quickly up to speed on important ideas. And today, well, we're looking at something I think almost every ambitious aesthetic practitioner has felt. You've just finished a consultation. Technically, perfect. You explained everything clearly. But then you hear it. I need to think about it. Ugh.
Right. It's that moment of hesitation. And it's usually not about your medical skills, is it? It's something deeper.
Exactly. It's this gap, a psychological one, between the patient thinking maybe and actually committing, saying, let's do this. What if we could bridge that gap more often?
Well, that's precisely what we're digging into today. We're looking at the work of Dr. Mecidine. He's got this incredible background, molecular biologist, regenerative medicine researcher.
And now a science tech business consultant. Yeah, his ethical decision-making guidance masterclass, it's packed with insights into patient psychology.
It really is. So we're pulling out his key strategies today.
Yeah.
The goal, to help you turn that, I'm just looking into confident action.
Helping practitioners become, as he might put it, architects of confidence. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Trust. Mecidine shares this pretty mind-blowing fact about first impressions.
Oh, it's wild. He says patients basically decide whether they trust you subconsciously, get this, within the first 7 seconds.
7 seconds? That's nothing. How is that even possible? It can't be about your qualifications then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not rational. It's primal. It's like, do they instantly feel comfortable, safe, like they're with someone they already know and trust, maybe a favorite aunt or that old family doctor vibe?
Wow. Okay, so if it's that fast, how do we actively, build that connection? What can we actually do?
He gives some really practical tools. One he calls the mirroring game, but it's not about literally copying everything they do.
Right, that would be weird.
Totally weird. No, it's about harmony. So if a patient comes in anxious, you meet them with a calm, reassuring energy. If they're really upbeat and excited, you match that enthusiasm. It's about finding that resonance.
Okay, creating harmony. And that links to his idea of the trusted confidant energy. Shifting gears a bit.
Precisely. Moving away from just being the clinical expert dispensing facts and more towards being a wise friend, someone they feel they can really open up to.
Like that example you mentioned before we started, Dr. Alina R.
Yes, exactly. So her patient mentioned feeling a bit intimidated by her very put-together mother-in-law. Instead of just talking about lip filler technique, Dr. Alina shared a quick story.
What did she say?
Something like, I had another patient who felt similarly. She wanted that polish like her mother-in-law, but worried about looking done. Well, after her treatment, her mother-in-law actually asked for my number because she thought she looked so fantastic, so naturally beautiful.
Oh, see, that's brilliant. It's relatable, it addresses the fear, and it shows a positive outcome through someone else. That builds rapport fast.
Instantly. It makes the connection personal, not just clinical.
Okay, so mirroring trusted confidant energy. What about these anchor phrases he mentions? And how do we handle the elephant in the room cost?
Right. Anchor phrases are about linking the treatment outcome to an emotion the patient already values. Like that feeling of eudaimonia, the deep satisfaction and harmony when something you've worked on just clicks perfectly. You connect the treatment result to that kind of feeling.
I like that, tying it to something positive they already know.
And that ties directly into the objection neutralizer for cost. When the money question comes up, and it always does, don't counter with logic or payment plans immediately. Fight stories with stories.
So what would that sound like?
You might say something like, I completely understand thinking about the investment. Actually, Mrs. Smith brought up that exact same point. But she told me just last week that her only regret was waiting so long because the confidence boost she got. She said it was genuinely priceless.
Okay, so you validate their concern first, then share a success story that reframes cost as value or investment in confidence.
Exactly. It's powerful. And research backs this up. One study showed something like 68% of buying decisions hinge on trusting the vendor, not just the product features. In aesthetics, where it's so personal and, intimate, that trust factor is even higher.
That makes total sense. Okay, so we've built that initial trust. Now, how do we take the next step? How do we make the results, the thing they can't see yet, feel real and tangible right there in the room?
This is crucial because, like Mecidine says, patients aren't buying the syringe or the laser time. They're buying the feeling they'll have, the reflection they'll finally love. So your job shifts from just explaining the procedure to creating a multisensory experience in their mind.
Multisensory? How do you do that just talking?
Through vivid language. Instead of saying, this reduces wrinkles, you paint the picture visually.
Give me an example.
Okay, so you might say, imagine waking up, seeing your reflection on a bright morning, and the light just catches your smooth skin right here, without those little shadows that might distract from your natural beauty right now. You make them see it.
Okay, I get the visual part. What about other senses?
You can orchestrate the soundtrack. Like, picture your partner or a close friend saying, wow, you seem so happy and rested lately. They might not pinpoint why, but you'll know.
Ah, tapping into auditory. Nice.
And then you create the feeling. This could be tactile or emotional. Imagine just running your fingers along your jawline and feeling that smooth, firm contour again. Remember that feeling. It's like reclaiming your own profile.
So visual, auditory, tactile, emotional, hitting all the channels.
Right. And you can even weave in a gentle urgency technique, not pressure, but context. Like, imagine that wedding coming up in 6 months. You could be preparing, still seeing these same concerns, maybe feeling a bit frustrated. Or imagine the alternative. You're getting ready, you look in the mirror, and you just smile. You feel radiant, completely ready.
That really frames the cost of inaction emotionally, doesn't it?
It does. And to make key benefits really stick, he suggests the triple threat repetition.
How does that work?
You anchor a core benefit by hitting different senses in succession. For example, you'll see your skin's luminosity returning day by day. You'll probably hear friends asking what your secret is. And most importantly, you'll feel that kind of liberating confidence, knowing you look as good as you feel.
See, hear, feel. It reinforces the message, but there's an ethical line here, right?
Absolutely critical. Dr. Mecidine is very clear on this. This is not about making wild, unsubstantiated promises. Describing the feeling of smoother skin is powerful and ethical. Promising someone they'll look 20 years younger, that instantly destroys trust, and frankly, it's wrong.
Okay, that's a really important distinction. Sensory imagery, yes. Unrealistic hype, no. Got it. Now, consultations often involve a lot of information. How do we stop patients from getting totally overwhelmed? How do we manage their memory?
Yeah, it can feel like an information tsunami for them. Dr. Mecidine says your mission here is twofold. Help them forget the noise that's strategic amnesia, and help them vividly remember the music, the emotional transformation that's hyperamnesia.
Strategic amnesia. Sounds intriguing. How do you make someone forget something strategically?
It's more about guiding their focus. So take prick concerns, you acknowledge it, then pivot. Yes, we'll absolutely go over the exact investment in a moment, but honestly, that dollar figure is probably the least important number today. The number I really want you to hold on to is how you're going to feel when you look in the mirror and that little worry is just gone, that feeling of confidence.
What about when they're confused by competitor options?
Same idea. You reframe complexity as a lack of clarity elsewhere. A lot of patients tell me they looked at other approaches, and they were so complex, honestly, they forgot the details almost immediately. With our approach here, it's beautifully simple. We're focusing on creating, and then you restate maybe 2 or 3 key emotional benefits. You simplify your solution in contrast.
What about the hyperamnesia, making the good stuff unforgettable?
That's where techniques like temporal anchoring come in. You link the benefits you discussed to specific future moments in their day.
Like what?
Like tonight, when you're getting ready for bed, just take a moment, think about that key benefit, EIG, refreshed look we talked about. Picture it. You might even catch yourself thinking, wow, this could really be the start of something incredible. You're planting a seed for later reflection.
And he also mentioned a mental loop effect. How does that work for memory?
Yeah, that's about reinforcing key numbers or time frames, but with slightly different emphasis each time. So, maybe. This treatment plan starts showing results quickly, you'll see that refreshed look in just 2 weeks. Seriously, imagine that only 2 weeks until you start noticing that real change. And in 2 weeks, that feeling of confidence can start becoming your new normal. It helps lodge it in their memory without sounding like a broken record.
But how do we tap into something even deeper, like their core motivations? What really drives them beyond just wanting to look better?
This is where it gets really powerful, potentially. Dr. Mecidine emphasizes that emotion fundamentally drives our decisions far more than logic. So the idea is to connect the proposed treatment not just to a desired future state, but to the patient's core identity.
How do you do that? By digging into their past.
Carefully, yes. By mining, as he puts it, moments of intense past pride or joy, or even sometimes instructive regret. It's about linking the treatment to who they are or who they want to be again.
Okay, let's break that down. He talks about positive revivification, the anchor souvenir technique.
Right. This involves uncovering a past peak moment. You might gently ask, can you tell me about a time, maybe professionally or personally, where you felt absolutely on top of your game, totally unstoppable, confident, energized?
So you get them to relive that positive emotion first.
Exactly. Let them really feel it again. Then you bridge it to the present solution. Okay, that feeling you just described, that sense of mastery, that radiance, that's the kind of feeling this treatment is really designed to help reawaken for you. He notes targeting firsts, like a first big career success, or first time feeling truly independent, can be especially powerful anchors.
What about the other side, negative revivification? That sounds a bit risky.
It is, and Mecidine stresses using it with extreme care and ethical sensitivity. This is the cost of inaction framed emotionally. You don't want to make them feel bad, but you might gently explore past hesitation.
How would you phrase that?
Very gentle, maybe. Have you ever, looking back, hesitated on making an important decision for yourself and later kind of wished you'd acted sooner? If they volunteer an example, you listen. Then you might carefully project forward. Okay, now imagine it's a year from now. Perhaps a friend who decided to address a similar concern looks and feels absolutely radiant, and you're still feeling exactly the same way you do today. And the crucial ethical guardrail here, as Mecidine emphasizes, we are healers and guides, not psychotherapists. Never, ever probe deep trauma. Stick to general life or professional examples. Keep it light but illustrative.
Okay, so we've connected emotionally, maybe even to their past self. How do we make them feel the future success, like right now in the consultation?
This is what he calls age progression magic. It's about guiding the patient to mentally simulate and experience the successful outcome in the future, right there in the chair. The cool thing, this activates reward centers in the brain almost as if they already have the result.
Wow. And he claims this can significantly reduce price objections.
Yeah, he suggests it can cut them by as much as 50%, because they're not just thinking about cost anymore, they're feeling the value of the outcome.
How does it work?
Okay, step 1, anchor the present. You confirm their current main concern. So, just to confirm, right now, today, the biggest challenge we're discussing is maybe that tired appearance around your eyes, the one that just doesn't quite match how energetic you feel inside. Is that accurate?
Get their agreement on the starting point. Makes sense. Step 2.
Step 2, project the future. Okay, now, I want you to just transport yourself forward in your mind. Let's say 6 months from now, you're walking into that important presentation or maybe getting ready for that family event. Your skin looks luminous, that eye area looks refreshed, rested. How does that change the way you feel walking into that room? What's different?
You make them actively imagine and verbalize the future state and feeling.
Nice.
And step 3.
Step 3, link with proof. Once they describe that positive feeling, you connect it back. Okay, that feeling you're describing right now, that confident energy, that ease, that's exactly what Mrs. Jones told me she experienced after her treatment. Right. That's the reality we're aiming for. You could also use future triggers here. Connect the benefit to a specific, concrete future event they've mentioned. You know, when you get those photos back from your daughter's wedding this summer and you see how refreshed you look, you're going to send me a little mental thank you. That's the moment we're working towards together.
That makes it very real, very personal. Okay, another practical aspect, time. Consultations can sometimes feel long. How do you manage the perception of time? Make 30 minutes feel like 10.
This is surprisingly important because, as Mecidine points out, if the consultation feels rushed, the patient feels pressured. If it drags on and on, they get bored or overwhelmed. The sweet spot is making it feel focused and valuable.
So the goal isn't actually to be faster, but to make the important parts feel substantial and the technical parts feel efficient.
Exactly. You want time to almost fly during the necessary technical explanations, but then you want to deliberately slow things down when you're discussing the emotional benefits, the vision, the transformation. Give those moments weight.
So you consciously accelerate through technical parts.
Yeah, use energetic language, a slightly quicker pace. Okay, the technical side here is pretty straightforward. We use ultrafine needles, a very precise technique, all very routine and well established. Keep it moving.
And then slow down for benefits.
Definitely. Deliberate pace, maybe some strategic pauses for emphasis. But what really matters is how this is going to make you feel. Longer pause.
Yeah.
Just imagine that sense of relief when you look in the mirror and you finally see the real you reflected back. Let the emotional points land.
That makes sense. Control the rhythm. What's a key mistake here?
Oh, a fatal error, according to Mecidine. Never, ever say, don't worry, this will be quick.
Why not?
Because quick subconsciously equals superficial or not thorough when discussing something important like their appearance. Instead, frame it positively. Okay, let's get straight to the heart of what matters most to you without any unnecessary fluff. That implies efficiency and focus.
Good tip. Okay, we've used all these amazing tools in the room. The patient seems convinced, but then they walk out the door. How do you ensure they actually take action later?
This is critical because, as Mecidine highlights, something like 80% of the final decision actually happens after the meeting ends. So your closing words aren't just a wrap-up. They need to act as subtle, elegant, psychological triggers.
Triggers for what?
Triggers that link the decision to act like calling to book or sending that email with inevitable future events or feelings. He calls this the follow-up activation system.
Okay, give me an example. How do you link to future actions?
You connect the act of contacting you with something routine they'll do anyway. You know, when you're having your morning coffee tomorrow, just relaxing for a moment, you're probably going to find yourself thinking again about that key emotional benefit. ESMG feeling of renewed confidence we discussed. When that thought pops up, you'll likely realize, yeah, this feels right. And that's probably the perfect moment to just send me a quick message with times that might work for your first session. Does that sound like a good plan?
You're predicting their thought process and giving them a low-friction next step tied to it. What about environmental triggers?
Using their surroundings as cues. When you get home later, maybe you'll see your current skincare products sitting on the counter, and you might remember our conversation about specific benefit. For example, achieving that smoother texture, and think, okay, it's time for that upgrade we talked about. When that happens, you'll know exactly what the next step is. And you can combine this with memory techniques like hypermnesia reinforcement. You're going to remember that feeling of confidence we tapped into every time you mention a specific situation they brought up, like see yourself on a video call. And when you feel that little reminder, you'll know exactly how to make that feeling your everyday reality.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.